Metro Boomin, of course, having a jam-packed album with familiar features. We're not going too crazy with artists that haven't had Metro Boomin chemistry. It's the ones we're already used to, and I'm okay with that. Of course, notable features that we've been seeing: Future, Travis Scott, 21 Savage, Young Thug, loving the addition of Don Toliver spread throughout here, The Weeknd, of course, and then we have some other features that aren't brand like, oh wow, they're mind-blowing, we need it going forward, Mustafa, but some ones that were appreciated pretty well. ASAP Rocky, for example, I would love to see him more with Metro Boomin and Takeoff, and those were, John Legend at the beginning, of course. So the features are all executed this perfectly to a certain extent, of course. A great feature selection and going into the album itself on time by Metro Boomin and John Legend. Yo, this is beautiful. The orchestra on here, the way it sort of creeps up, it feels like we're in the beginning of one of the Marvel intros where everything's flipping. That's how it feels the first time listening to this, from the vocals, John Legend, and eventually towards the end when we get that Homelander going into superhero. It's just tense, it's dense, it's dark and sinister. One thing that I want to say in relation to heroes and villains, the title, the themes, it doesn't get too there's not much exploration when it comes to the themes and the world that was built. There wasn't any point throughout this album that I felt like, sort of like this feels like a heroes kind of theme or villains kind of theme. The branding is amazing, loving how it relates to the cover art with Metro Boomin with the flames in the suit. But overall, there wasn't a point where I was just like, oh, this is like a villainous track or this is a heroic track. It just didn't do that, and that's okay. Superhero, malicious instrumental, one of the best in 2022. Future bodied it. Chris Brown, Breezy baby, doing some magic on the outro, and then this is something I was like, yo, Metro, Breezy, I want more of this going forward in the future. Continuing with the momentum, Too Many Nights with Metro Boomin, of course. Future, Don Toliver doing excellent on the hooks. And Don Toliver in this album, I believe, outshined Travis Scott, which is monumental, seeing the protege eclipsing the teacher. And I don't want to go too much on this tangent on how Travis Scott has been throughout the past couple years with his, with songs outside of this. But I just found Don Toliver's vocals to be sharper, to be a bit more polished, show more variety, a lot more life, instead of sometimes the very predictable and mundane monotoned Travis verses that we do get. Raindrops, a track that we've been anticipating for a long time. Excellent, well done, well done, and definitely set the atmosphere. 21 Savage and Young Nudy, this is a duo that ever since I heard them together on EA, it's like nothing's been able to live up to it. Yes, I know I shouldn't be expecting the same thing with EA or having to eclipse that. But anytime I hear an instrumental that just isn't haywire, wacky, mind-boggling, and just an odd choice that ends up working out well, it is slightly disappointing. I felt the instrumental on here was played safe, even the flows between the two, but I love it. It's addictive, it's malicious, makes me want to go down an ops block and go haywire. And I'm gonna skim through this middle section and not so much like, I don't care for it. I love this middle section right here. And but let me continue on. Trance, Travis Scott, Young Thug, mellow, melodic, beautiful. Happy we didn't get the Drake feature on here, executed well. Going on with Around Me, Don Toliver, another clean addition. Metro Spider with Young Thug. There's a Candace on here that Young Thug goes on when he continues to rhyme that was very Lil Wayne-esque, from the flow to the way everything just sort of rolled out the tongue. And I can't save you, I can't save you, I can't save you, I can't save you. This right here is jaw-dropping. One of my favorites. This interlude, honestly, is a better song than most of the songs on this album. Metro Boomin blew my mind away, and creeping with The Weeknd, Able Baby, 21 Savage, I wanted to cry. The way the sample was slowed down and eventually sped up as the pacing continues. The Weeknd doing that introduction, I felt like my heart was ready to blow up. And then when it speeds up and Abel continues to carry it pretty well with his vocals, I was like, this is what we're talking about. This is the meat and potatoes. 21 Savage doing what 21 Savage does best and finished it off strong. Niagara Falls, this is a track that It's similar to a certain extent to Raindrops with that Travis Scott tempo, which is a bit disappointing, but the addition of 21 Savage lets this remain fresh. Walk 'em down, 21 Savage, Mustafa, loving the dynamic here of walking down on your ops. And that one time whenever you want to transition away from the violence and you were caught blindly by somebody else taking on your own life really fits this battle 21 Savage has been facing over the past year or so of attempting to be an advocate of reducing gun violence, reducing violent conversations, actions. However, his own music being the music that's like, hey yo, we shooting people. His music itself being violent. So Walk 'em Down with a Mustafa feature being a track that sort of treads that duality. Lock on Me, unfortunately, feels repetitive to what we've already heard with Raindrops and even Niagara Falls with that kind of theme going on. Feel the Fire, A$AP Rocky, Takeoff, the A to Z rhyme style from Takeoff, legendary. Love the fact that he took upon himself to challenge Rocky on the hook. It sort of reminded me of the ambience on Brother Man from Testing. All the Money with Gunna, I felt was a pretty safe end to the album. I would have enjoyed something more grand, but overall my thoughts on this Metro Boomin, Heroes and Villains is Metro Boomin's strongest album to date. His most cohesive. As far as the production, it is luscious, it is vicious. There are points in here that just genuinely puts you in a soundtrack. And whenever it comes to the themes of heroes and villains, this album is definitely on the villainous side. If I have to give this album a rating for you guys, this is a strong 9 out of 10. Some of the flaws, of course, being the multiple Travis Scott songs that just don't have enough variety. And I felt there could have been a bit more experimentation, whether we're talking about 21 Savage and Young Nudy. And yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts.